This episode is presented by Destination New South Wales. Discover experiences that will energise you and make you feel new. Head to visitnewsouthwales.com to find out more. And O'Neill, first name in the water.
And then I'm gonna say,
Last episode of Rivals, Geordie Lawler showed his competitive pedigree by throwing everything he had at his beloved North Narra lefts. This episode, we head way down south of the Harbour Bridge to hook up with our final competitor of Rivals Season 3. Can Kalani Ball, the lanky super prodigy, steal the Rivals crown in the final hometown heat of the event? Let's find out.
With Geordie's Rivals heat completed, we leave Sydney's northern beaches and head south of the city to the Illawarra, home of Australian World Tour hopeful Kalani Ball. First stop, Gibbon National Park, with its ancient Indigenous engravings and stunning bushwalks. Winding through the Royal National Park, we arrive at Gary Beach to watch the whales pass at the Governor Game Lookout. Then it's off to the Symbio Wildlife Park to hang with the koalas, and finally onto the Great Rocky Escarpment at Stanwell Tops, home of Kalani Ball and some of the best paragliding and hang gliding in the world.
Kalani Ball, 16 from Stanwell Park. Kalani Ball, 24. My birth date is 26th of the 3rd, 1997 from Stanwell Park.
Kalani Ball, aka K-Ball, is the latest in a long line of well-rounded, super stylish talents from the New South Wales South Coast. From the great coal mining core lord and self-made maestro Terry Richo to the Mondo cone packing madman Mick Lowe, this corner of the East Coast is renowned for producing gritty, top-flight talent. With his signature style, aerial wizardry, and electric calves, K-Ball is the Gold Coast's next hope for the World Tour.
He had this blonde little scruffy hair, and he just used to shred. But he was always had the neatest arm placement and hands, and a little bit like a Taj Burrow or something. Just everything was quite polished from a young age, his style and whatnot.
Whenever you come up against him in the draw of a comp, you're just what's gonna happen here?
Kalani's electric, he's really, really loose on his board, really light on his feet, and he's come off the bottom, you don't really know what he's gonna do in the lip. It's just that explosive, electric kind of style where it keeps you on your toes, and you kind of wow, he pulled that off, and holy shit, he made that, or where'd that come from? He constantly just blows people's minds with how he's doing turns, and you weren't expecting it.
The way Kalani approaches waves is pretty full throttle, and surprising, you never know if he's going to just rip the top off it or just absolutely whip the fins around and just do a full spin. So he could just be throwing anything at us. You'll probably just be seeing fins galore, so that'd be sick.
He leaves nothing behind on a wave. He maximises every section he gets. You won't really expect it, and then he'll just do full rotation and reverse. And you'll be well. So yeah, you can expect that.
On land, Kalani is he's very nonchalant, very relaxed, very cruisy, but you'll get him in a heat and he's just blinkers on, he's ready to go, he's ready to win. But you know what, it'll be interesting to see how he goes in the Rivals format.
He might be from the sleepy hamlet of Stanwell Park, but once the hooter goes, K-Ball's ready to take some heads off.
I think about the ocean all the time. I'm thinking about surfing every day, pretty much every minute. Yeah, both my parents surf, so as soon as I was out the womb, I was onto a surfboard, I guess. Yeah, my mum used to take me down the beach in Cronulla and push me into little waves. So year 4 or year 5, a few of my older mates surfed a bunch, and they kind of just dragged me down the beach, and Yeah, it's kind of like the first time I surfed or went to the beach without my parents and just like hung out with my mates and just loved the whole thing of just being down the beach with all my mates and surfing.
A junior prodigy with no obvious weaknesses, he was tipped for big things, eventually finding himself in the midst of a Billabong surf team brimming with some of the best teenagers on the planet.
We're living the dream, really. There's not much, it can't get much better than this, really. Epic. I signed with Billabong when I was 14 and I barely went to school. I just went on surf trips. I did a trip with Tom Curran and Ockie and Gary Elkerton when I was 15 to the Ments. Like, not many kids get to experience that, and like, at the time you don't really think too much of it, but now looking back at it, it's like such an amazing opportunity, and yeah, glad I got to do those things. Got such a good hookup with Billabong, it was amazing. Straight away went to Tahiti, Hawaii, Indo. Yeah, we had such a good crew of people like Ethan, Griffin, Seth Meniz. Like, the talent was crazy. So yeah, it just pushed all of us, and those guys were so gnarly, so young, and just to see them get on tour and excel on tour, it's like, it's really good for me because I feel like I'm almost there and can mix it with those guys.
After the break, we find out how one of Australia's best junior talents ended up on a sweaty South Coast job site.
It's in all of us. That craving to feel new again. To see something new that will blow our minds. Or meet someone new who will change it. New South Wales. A place to feel free. To feel alive. And most of all, to feel new again.
And what's the focus for you? Do you think you've got to work on your strengths, surf your strengths, or work on your weaknesses?
For sure, weaknesses. I have to work on my weaknesses, I think. Yeah, just definitely try and bring up my whole level of surfing to a higher level, and then, yeah, it should help.
Despite being slated for big things, the sheer volume of talent on Billabong's roster, including current World Tour surfers Ethan Ewing, Griffin Colapinto and Seth Moniz, saw K-Ball relegated back to the working class. His woes worsened when he broke his leg in a surfing mishap, leaving him languishing on the tools for a total of 2 years.
Yeah, seeing everyone go through their stories is cool in a way, and I guess just if anyone of the boys want to ask me like, or need any advice or anything about that stuff, like I'm always just like, keep going for it, mate. Like, keep at it, don't quit. You can get there, and it's good to see him still going, and it's good to see him win an event still.
Yeah, I broke my leg in 2019, I think it was, and then missed the first few events of that year. Didn't really know how long my leg was going to take to heal, and then COVID hit, all the events got canned. Ended up waiting for my leg to heal, got on the tools for almost 2 years, and 8 hours in the sun digging holes. It's a bit better traveling the world surfing for sure.
He was like pool renovating, so he was on the jackhammer a lot and all that sort of stuff, but I feel like through Kalani having a job, it probably gave him some good perspective like it did for, like, I feel like a lot of us kids that were probably growing up, had good sponsors, had everything, could travel the world, like took it for a bit for granted, I think, when we were younger.
Oh, it would have been tough for sure. I know he worked real hard at home, which is really cool, like just hearing that he works hard for what he's got, you know. I think it'll all pay off in the long run.
Kind of didn't really know if I was going to chase the competitive surfing again for a while there, but did a few events in Oz and kind of had some pretty good results, and it kind of got the fire back a bit, and yeah, jumped back onto the Kiwi and started all over again.
After a stint swinging the shovel and a couple of unsponsored hangers, K-Ball got the wind up him once again and thought he'd give the Q a red-hot crack.
The fire it can create when you're coming back, it looks like that's what it's done to him this time. He's just come out all guns blazing, and he knows this is his time, and we are all getting older. We've had injuries and stuff to reconsider everything, so if the time is now, that's for sure. We've got to get it done, yeah.
With Kalani, like he had a major sponsor and he lost it, but he grinded it out, and to see his focus still competitive wise, and like he still chased it and he was still doing really well, and crew were noticing that, we were all noticing that, and then you know, the surf industry probably isn't as good as what it used to be, but to see him get sponsored again, he's riding for O'Neill, yeah, it's sick that someone's backing him on his journey.
I went without a sponsor for like maybe 3, tops 4 months, and yeah, he's done it for years, and yeah, I respect that so much, and yeah, I want to see him make it, and obviously prove all those sponsors that weren't sponsoring him, prove them wrong, and yeah, I feel like he's got a good chance. He's on the Challenger Series this year, and he did really well in the regional series and was putting up some really good performances, so I'm excited for him.
I've never experienced that, which is like, I'm so thankful for, but I reckon it must be super hard, like financially, it's such an expensive year. Having the opportunity to ride for O'Neill and kind of have that support there could be the difference between, you know, qualifying and not. So it'd be exciting to watch, and maybe that's sort of that little leg up he needed.
There are few things worse for a would-be pro surfer than staring into a ditch on a day of dreamy offshore waves. It does, however, fuel the fire to make it, and now with a second chance, K-Ball is leaving no stone unturned in his quest to qualify for the World Tour.
Lived here my whole life, but just need to try something new, and I think being able to use the HVC and all of that up there, and all those coaches and the like physios and the gym and everything, it's just gonna, I think, really help me go to that next level, I guess. Yeah, I'm also looking forward to getting up there and surfing some really good waves. Finally getting out of home, 25, bit of an old boy, finally getting out.
Let's face it, nobody wants to get skunked. Don't go before you know. Know before you go. With Surfline, get live surf cams, long-range forecasts, and so much more. Surfline, we'll help you find your next wave.
Just having a little surf at Snapper. It's pretty onshore, but there's a bit of swell around, so try and hunt some ramps and hopefully land something. Yeah. It's so wild surfing out here, like, so scary, I reckon. So many boards just getting bailed and shit. Every time you catch a wave, I swear you're just looking for people on the wave. You can never, like, do a turn without people, like, throwing their board in front of you and shit. Usually just chase a few of the beaches down south and Stratty up north when it's on. This time of year it's pretty rare to get a good swell like this, so yeah, just been chasing this the last few days. Probably head down to the HVC and do a session in the gym down there, and yeah, been loving it up here, just getting to use the facilities down there and have all these really fun waves around here, so yeah, stoked.
The enduring presence of a near-stationary surface trough with embedded lows north of New Zealand produced a pretty decent easterly fetch in tandem with a slow-moving high hovering just off the South Island. The end result was a fun-sized easterly swell maintaining consistent short-period surf as it filled in across the Illawarra's open beaches beneath an ideal light offshore west-northwest land breeze.
I'm hoping my home break Stanwell Park's going to be having some banks, and I'd love to just do it out there, to be honest. Grown up there my whole life, and it's just the best place ever.
I reckon he's going to go 4 to 6 foot, Stanwell Park, straight offshore, tubes and turns.
I reckon I'd struggle pretty hard. Like, I don't know, I'd be like torn because I'd want to surf a crazy slab if I lived down there. I'd probably be trying to just chase something gnarly and just hope that like get 15 of the Psychos barrels that day and then you're good.
Kalani's really talented, so you can give him any day that, you know, that on a beach break, I feel like if it's upwards of like to 3 to 4 foot and pretty clean, he's got a bag of tricks, so he could pull a lot out. It'd be 3 hours out of beachy for Kalani could be quite amazing to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure K-Ball will probably know his way around the chart a bit. Down that way, it depends if he wants to go to like a slab or if he wants to hunt a beachy. Like, that's up to him to make the call. He's a big boy.
To slab or not to slab? That is the question. Will K-Ball go for Mondo bone-crunching orbs or ply his technical wizardry on one of the punchy local beach breaks? All will be revealed after the break.
Looking like Chango out there, boys. It's like 2 foot, right rip bowly sort of setup. Hard to see in the dark, but looks like there's plenty of waves, so should be on. It's dead offshore at the moment, so they're probably trying to string a few turns together. And if the wind goes onshore, maybe try a couple airs or something, see how I go. Hopefully land something.
Welcome back to Rivals Series 3. Vaughan Blakey and Jed Smith in the commentary booth for what is going to be a classic session with the little South Coast reef rat and one of the true understated legends of Australian kiwi grinding, Kalani Ball.
He's a product of the Cold Coast down there, just south of Sydney, and what a wave-rich region it is. Kind of reminiscent of the North Shore of Oahu in some ways, except with a train line and a few extra coal mines. Plenty of grit down there, though. Kalani Ball, he's got grit in spades, Vaughan.
Barely said that this surf was looking a little bit like Chungu. I hope he doesn't mean that there's about 300,000 kilos of rubbish through the lineup. But he's found a beautiful little right-hander here to kick off his Rivals campaign. And wave number 1 of the morning. I tell you what, while most of us are just struggling to get out of bed, he's already ripped this one to ribbons. And one of the real, success stories, I'd say, out of Australian junior surfing. He came through in a really competitive generation, but he's found new sponsorship with O'Neill. And on the Challenger Series, he's looking every bit like someone who could make the CT and cause a few upsets.
As we see him winding up on this fun little head-high right-hander, a tall, rangy body and just able to contort it into epic shapes and just throw serious heat. The body lingo, Vaughan, the style is it's Fanning-esque. It's so satisfying to see a big body push themselves to this range of movement and the versatility of manoeuvres he's pulling off here. You'd think it's an absolute sure thing that he will emerge through the QS grind and get onto the CT at some point.
Geez, he puts them together well, doesn't he? It's seamless. The way that he can go from one turn straight into the next one, maintain the speed and power. I mean, if this was a Kiwi, the guy would be racking them up.
Watch out for your big toe, sir. There is a meat cleaver coming for you. Just a full-blooded front-side hack attack straight into a little fin throw. Classical lines with some new school progressive antics. Look at that. That just second section just offered the perfect little ramp to knock that thing off. That was so sick. I love this opening manoeuvre.
Wow. Exactly what you do to your brother or your friend or your sister or your mum if they're paddling past. It's just a full-blown whack in the face. Look out, I'm coming through. And I think that's one of the great joys of surfing, is it not, Spiffy?
Spraying your mate in the face, and I just love the reflexes to be able to reset and tee off on that next section.
Staying extremely busy here off the bottom. This has got a nice section, and really is such a playful wave. He gets a good completion. Stock standard Kiwi grinding going on here, but that last turn had some sting, didn't it? Bit of Muhammad Ali on the inside section. Wah, 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 crack! And beautiful, fun looking wave. Look at this thing stand up, belts that end bit. And that is money in the bank.
I love the hand jive, love the body lingo on that. Just freeze frame, kicks the fins out. Hey-ya, full karate pose.
Surf seems to be getting better with this tide as the morning goes on. He's picked off a nice one here. Beautiful grab rail carve. You won't see anything more pleasing to the eye than one of these. Just a beautiful carve. Oh, he bogs it a bit, actually. No, we can't give you the points for that. But, I mean, when this thing's done well, it's one of the great turns in surfing. You can say, oh, he pulls it through. I can't pay it, Smithy. What about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first stage of that carve. I feel like the wave just kind of flattened out a bit and didn't give him that nice section to really ranch it through.
Oh, it is Chungu. Well, this bloke's going down to catch a few minnows in the beach and sweep up some thongs and hopefully fix his motorbike with them.
Geez, he's come up with a find. Can only wonder what that was, whether it was a gold ring or a marine grade cock ring, who knows?
It might have been the toenail off that bloke that got scalped before by that frontside laceration as he comes off the bottom, throws the fins. Well, surfers these days, they're a dime a dozen turn.
Yeah, I just love the limber nature of his big frame. He's obviously doing a lot of flexibility training to be able to surf with that much power and agility and flexibility. It really is a nice look on the wave. It's power, but it's not clunky power. It's always able to mould the shape of the wave, and I think the judges are going to love that.
Kalani Ball slashing off the top. He's just looking so razor sharp. This is beautiful surfing. You can just see how much these kids have grown into the global superstar competitors that they are. I mean, there's not a whole lot of fanfare around a lot of our rivals competitors this year. But that turn there was as good as you'll see. Throws in the variety. Beautiful little snap to fakie. And he's cooked someone there. And no doubt that bloke doesn't deserve a sniff. And why would he when that's going on the outside? Cracko!
Just buries the bottom turn so deep, gives himself a really good look at that section to get vertical and just jam it.
That's his best wave of the morning, without doubt. He's really put himself in the frame. Finds some fish. He gets... he's made it!
Yeah, nice little double up section. Read it perfectly. Stuffed it. Got a little bit of ish. A little bit of shampoo on the doggy door exit. But, mate, a session like this wouldn't be complete without a little bit of vish, would it, Vaughan?
No, it wouldn't be. And a nice little gem. I mean, anyone on any day of the week is not going to complain about the fish. Oh, my goodness! That is the turn of the session. And call the dentist because that wave has just lost its teeth.
Holy steak and potatoes, Batman! Wow! Upside down, drop wallet, kapow!
Look
Bring
at
in
this.
the herd. Darts!
An amazing finish here for Kalani Ball, and this is exactly what he needed. I mean, the waves weren't all there for him. We know how good this stretch of coast gets. He's picked his window, he's paddled out, he's had a blinder of a session, But those last couple of turns, especially that last one, Smithy, money in the bank. Has Kalani Ball put himself in contention here?
Let's throw to Kalani on the beach and get his take.
3 hours in the bank. When you're kind of out there, like, it goes pretty quickly, like, especially the last hour. You kind of know what you have already got, and you're just trying to beat that at the same time. So you're kind of like hunting around, and I felt like that was the most, I was like hunting for waves just in that last hour, because you just wanted to try and better what you've done already. So yeah, it was sick.
Well, there you have it, folks. Kalani Ball, it wasn't the biggest waves we've seen in the rival series so far, but my goodness, didn't he come through with a couple of clutch moments in that one, Smithy?
Yeah, well, it had it all that session. I mean, maybe a touch lackluster, only in that 3 to 4 foot range, but such stylish rail surfing, a couple of pretty sick frontside punts, air reverses, fin ditches, and that last end section karate kick smackdown was worth the wait.
Has he done enough to take out Rival Season 3? We're going to send it to the judges to find out.
Join us next week as the Eggheads put their scones together and come up with a winner for Rivals Series 3.
This episode is presented by Destination New South Wales. Discover experiences that will energise you and make you feel new. Head to visitnewsouthwales.com to find out more. And O'Neill, first name in the water.